The NBA season is just 1 month away, so our long wait for live basketball is finally approaching its end. The makeup of teams are starting to finalize from all of their off-season moves, and rotations are now being figured out, but even now, it's not too late to scour the market for one last trade to address a need before play begins. Bleacher Report is an outlet that regularly proposes deals along these lines, where the goal is to hypothesize teams fixing holes in their rosters, and they posted another article along these lines yesterday. So, as is a recurring theme here on this channel, I'm going to analyze and discuss a few of them by going through why each team would or would not do it, who benefits the most from it, and if they're even realistic enough to actually happen. If you want to read the actual article itself, that will be linked in the description. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first trade we'll be taking a look at from the article is between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Indiana Pacers, and in it the Lakers receive Miles Turner and Buddy Hield in exchange for Russell Westbrook and 2 first-round picks. The connection between these two teams in trade talks has been prevalent for weeks now, and from the Lakers' standpoint, the fact that they're targeting Turner and Hield makes perfect sense. The Lakers are in desperate need of a defensive anchor at center and more floor spacing from the guys that they surround LeBron James and Anthony Davis with, and it just so happens that the Pacers have 2 players that fit both of those needs and could be had on the trade market because of the team's rebuilding goals. Anthony Davis very notably prefers to play the power forward position over the center position, so Turner's fit would be seamless in their lineup as one of the best rim protectors and shot blockers in the league right now, and offensively, Turner has never been someone that commands that many touches or dominates the ball to the point where it would get in the way of their primary creators. The issue with all of this though is that Russell Westbrook isn't really a valuable asset anymore, and 2 first-round picks being offered would have to do a lot of heavy lifting in this trade to get it done. Russ's contract expires after this season, and the Pacers would likely buy him out of this contract anyway if they did make this trade, but then they're essentially trading Hield and Turner for 2 first-round picks along with a massive dead cap hit, and honestly, that just doesn't seem like the best offer that they could receive for them. Better value can definitely be had if they're patient enough and possibly wait until the trade deadline this season, so even though this would be every Lakers fan's dream trade, I don't think the Pacers would be very moved by it. The next trade we'll be taking a look at, proposed in the article, is between the Golden State Warriors and the Detroit Pistons, where the Pistons receive James Wiseman and Ryan Rollins in exchange for Kelly Olynyk and a first-round pick. This deal pretty much encapsulates the debate about whether the Warriors should continue to prioritize the present above all else while their championship window is still open, or if they should keep their future in mind when the dynasty eventually ends. In the year 2022, Kelly Olynyk definitely makes the Warriors a better team right now, but obviously the Warriors invested a ton into James Wiseman when they drafted him 2nd overall, and his eventual ceiling could prove to be immensely higher than Olynyk will ever be down the line. The thing about Wiseman though is that there's zero guarantee that he ever reaches that ceiling based on what we've seen from him so far, so the way he develops is a total gamble at this point in time. As a rookie, Wiseman's play was pretty shaky all things considered, as he did flash the occasional potential to be a rim-running big man that could use his ridiculous length to alter shots, but he also struggled in terms of positioning, overall instincts and feel for the game, and motor. He also missed all of last season due to injury, and that, along with the fact that he barely played at all in college, still makes him a huge mystery all this time later. I know most Warriors fans would hate this move because they want Wiseman to be good for them, but the organization and staff are the ones that are around him every day, and if they see any signs that he won't live up to the hype, then maximizing Steph Curry's championship window while also getting a first-round pick for it in return isn't the worst thing in the world. The next trade we'll be discussing is between the New York Knicks and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in it, the Knicks receive Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in exchange for Evan Fournier, Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, and 3 first-round picks. So we all know the Knicks missed out on Donovan Mitchell during those sweepstakes when the Cavaliers swooped in and stole him away, and based on the reports surrounding the situation that I've seen, it feels like the Knicks assumed that they had more time to negotiate and didn't think the Jazz were in deep negotiations with outside suitors. I truly do believe that the Knicks are going to regret being so skittish in the Mitchell talks, but there's a deal that could actually end up being a better one for them if it presents itself, which is the one we're looking at right here. The Oklahoma City Thunder are still rebuilding, but the issue is that unlike other rebuilds we've seen, this one doesn't seem to have an end in sight, as this is going to be the 3rd year of the rebuild, while they're still a far cry away from being competitive. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was on the team the last time they made the playoffs, and at 24 years old, he's getting to the point where he's going to want to compete for a playoff run. Every move the Thunder make, however, seem to indicate that they're still prioritizing that rebuild, and if things don't change in the near future, Shai could want out. The Knicks, again, have the assets to make a competitive offer here. Shai is arguably an even better fit on the team than Mitchell would have been as a better playmaker and defender, and he's younger too. The Thunder seem like a perfect spot for Cam Reddish to try to find his footing in the league as well, and the 3 first-round picks will absolutely catch the eyes of Sam Presti, so honestly this isn't that bad of a deal at all for either side. And finally, the last trade we'll be discussing today from the article is between the Denver Nuggets and the Sacramento Kings, and in it the Kings receive Michael Porter Jr. in exchange for Harrison Barnes, Richaun Holmes, and a protected first-round pick. This one caught my eye because the Nuggets are in a weird spot right now, and once games start back up, Michael Porter Jr.'s stock is either going to shoot up or sink kind of hard. Michael Porter Jr. is obviously the player in this trade with the highest upside, and before he got injured, he was emerging as a serious scoring threat, averaging nearly 20 points efficiently in his last healthy season, but we can no longer ignore his back problems that have been around since his college days. There's a very real chance that they hold him back from reaching his full potential, and they could also be a recurring theme for him moving forward, so the Nuggets cashing in on him before that becomes a reality here would address 2 of their biggest areas of need. Barnes is a steady player that can step into the hole that would be left behind by Porter in the deal, and Holmes would be a far better backup center than any of the team's options that they currently have on the roster. For the Kings, I see why they would want to take a swing at a high upside guy like Porter is, and they're building a pretty strong offensive team right now that would be even better with Porter in the lineup, but simultaneously, Porter has been one of the worst defensive players in the league, even at full strength, and I just don't think the Kings can afford to sacrifice any more on the defensive end. The Kings were the 4th worst defensive team last year, and this trade would result in a possible further drop from that. It doesn't matter how good your offense is, if you can't get stops, you're never going to achieve anything significant, so even though the Kings are demonstrating a willingness to do what they need to do to end their current playoff drought, I'm not sure this trade would do it for them. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical deals. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.